love, I want the real stuff. Everybody listen up, cause I'll only say it once. I'm gonna show you all the path. If you want it bad, I'm gonna show you where it's at. Yeah, how you can get it back. Yeah, cause I ain't never done. I'll be number one, working hella hard until I get just what I want. Yeah, rises like the sun, yeah, fatal like a gun. Shooter's gonna shoot and I'm gonna shoot until I won. Yeah, always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. Grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only a path, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win, yeah. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Keep my head up when I act, head up, that's a fact. Never looking back, I'ma keep myself on track. Keep my head up, staying strong, always moving on. Feel I don't belong, tell my thoughts to move along. Push myself to be the best, die with no regrets. Live with every breath, see my message start to spread. And I had so many dreams, then you hit your teens. Life ain't really what it seems, try to find out what it means. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. I'm grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only a path, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win. I don't want no fake love, I want the real stuff. Everybody listen up, cause I'll only say it once. I'm gonna show you all the path. If you want it bad, I'm gonna show you where it's at. Yeah, how you can get it back. Yeah, cause I ain't never done, I'll be number one.
All right, I'm going to shrink myself real quick so that we can look at Vigorous Steve's YouTube channel. Back in action, baby. I think the channel came back up yesterday. Well, right when I woke up yesterday morning. I've been checking it frequently since he was banned. And since we enacted a bunch of people, thank you, those of you that went to Twitter to tweet Team YouTube and some of these other people, the trusted flaggers, to help Steve get back. So I've been checking it frequently. And I found, I think yesterday morning when I first woke up to check it, that the channel was back, and here we are. Yeah, I mean, again, I predicted that the channel would be back. This kind of shit does happen. Again, it happened to Mark Bell's Power Project. It's happened to us 5 or 6 times in total. You know, and I think you always have to get humans involved to have a manual review. And I think also if there's enough people in the community that you know, have a problem with the banning or the taking down of a channel that's very useful, then YouTube kind of weighs that out. Probably internal team goes, hey, we've got some pressure from people. That usually always works. So Steve is back, thankfully, and we are good to go. Let me bring myself back up here. Congrats, Steve. Honestly, fucking super happy you're back, bro. And I mean, YouTube wouldn't be the same without you, honestly. All right, let's talk about a couple things. So I've been discussing the use of Anavar at low doses. I did that big breakdown just the other day. I've done a lot of clinical research on it and a lot of anecdotal reporting. I've looked at 40 people's bloods on it. On the steroid subreddit. I've really got a chance to analyze it. I've got some clients using Anavar and have looked at their bloods. And, I decided that post cycle, since my bloods looked pretty good after running a cycle for just about 4 months, and I wanted to try it. I've had it in my cupboard for, I don't know, 6 months. I haven't touched it. That's discipline right there. So I just started running a baby dose of Anavar at 11.5 milligrams a day, basically 12 milligrams. It just happens to be that oddball dose because it was prescribed to me from Defy Medical 6 months ago or so, and the tablets are 23.5 milligrams or something, right? So I'm splitting one of those at half each day. Today would be day 4. No, today might even be day 5 of taking it. And here's what I wanted to do in order to actually see, for me personally, that low of a dose, what it did for anabolism. I couldn't really stay on sports TRT to do that. So I'm on 3 pumps of cream, nothing else. A little bit of HCG, some pregnenolone, minute doses of DHEA, 5 milligrams of tadalafil a day. So not very anabolic on that, but I want to see what a baby dose of Anavar will do specifically for anabolism. I don't imagine that I'm going to grow significantly, but I do imagine that I'm going to be a lot stronger. Interestingly, people will tell you when you take Anavar and you start taking it that immediately you notice changes. And interestingly, I have noticed that, I mean, after 2 or 3 sets of any given workout, my pump is as if I had been at the gym for a fucking hour. Yeah, the pump is like very noticeably better. Just 4 days of using Anavar. I take it half hour before the gym, and then I go to the gym and the pump is like fucking, I have a mega pump right away. I've also noticed that on shoulder flies, I've been able to bump my my weight up 10 pounds, right? Not super significant, but from 40 pounds to 50 pounds very easily, and doing more reps. Can't say there's any other things that I've actually tried to increase the weight on for now. It's only been 4 days. So I'm going to see what it does to strength. It seems to be improving strength already. It's improving my fucking pumps like crazy already. And specifically, I want to look at cystatin C, BGFR, sure, creatinine, those kinds of things. I want to see if it fucks with my kidneys at all. I'll be monitoring liver values. We're going to try to run a 5 or 6 week cycle of it and just sort of see where things are. The only reason I'm doing this is because my bloods were pretty good after the test cycle. And that's about it. Yeah. So I'll keep you guys posted on that. It should be pretty fucking interesting, and we'll go from there. Let's talk about again how testosterone cypionate is trash. Yeah, I'm awaiting. There's a YouTuber that's connected to Vigorous Steve that's doing some comparisons, and I think one of their conclusions on this, I don't know if it's fully completed at this point, is that cypionate may not even effectively break down. It could be one of the reasons that people have significant problems on that ester, is that it might not even be delivering the testosterone that you need, despite what it's saying in the blood or whatever. That might have to do with some of the internal depot release dynamics based on the ester, etc. But I've always known through coaching that cypionate is an inferior ester to even testosterone enanthate. Obviously, testosterone propionate is a better choice, but testosterone cream is also a better choice. Relative to hematocrit, one of the things that I've always contended is that you ultimately get less hematocrit when you're using fast-acting stuff. And we do actually have a paper, so let me get you this paper here. Would be here. Hold on one sec. Why do I not have that paper anymore? Hold on a second, boys. Can I just open it up in a new tab, perhaps? No, it's not there. Why don't I have that paper? Weird. All right, let me open it up in a new fucking tab because YouTube's being ridiculous here. Or it's really my browser that's being a little ridiculous. Okay. Maybe that'll work. Yeah, that looks like it worked. Okay, cool. So let's look at this paper for a sec. It's called Too Much Testosterone Can Make It Hard to Breathe. Now, what they're basically saying here is that a person was suffering from mild subclinical or super noticeable erythrocytosis. You had elevated hemoglobin. So those are it's basically a protein that carries oxygen. You guys know this, but those of you that don't, throughout your blood, and it elevates in the presence of low oxygen, a low oxygen state, in order to compensate for that. And you got a case of a guy doing intramuscular testosterone. Now, it doesn't say if he was running cypionate enanthate or fucking prop, but it's almost definitely likely that this person was running testosterone cypionate. And I've found people that run cypionate have way more hematocrit problems than people that run cream or prop. But what they found is that all they did was switch him to a topical testosterone. So probably gel in this case, but I would wager that cream would work pretty effectively or similarly, considering half-life. It drops off quicker. It doesn't constantly stick around. It's a very different distribution of testosterone. It's a more quick peak and then a trough. That thereafter, there was no rise in hemoglobin nor a return of dyspnea. So this guy was having breathing problems on just intramuscular testosterone, switched to a transdermal application, and it was resolved. There are other studies like this too that show us that when you switch to cream or gel, in this case, a fast acting ester, that, a lot of the problems, especially the hematological problems, go away. So it's just another reason that I think that cypionate is, I don't want to call it trash, because it does work for some people, but it is the inferior ester, all things considered. All right. So with that said, let's get into questions. Again, Vigorous Steve is back. We want to fucking thank everybody that went and tweeted Team YouTube for that. I saw that a handful of you guys went and did that. So that, I'm sure, weighed into their decision. I'm sure Steve got a hold of them as well, and some other people got a hold of them as well. I mean, Twitter actually blew up, and I fucking have a lot of you guys to thank for that. And it's probably Steve enacted some people to do that. And now he's back. So fucking rock on. We're moving on. Okay. Simon. Hey, brother. What's up, brother? How much more difficult is it to dial in people without estradiol sensitive labs? It's simply not possible to get this testing done. It doesn't make it substantially more difficult, but what it does is not give us an exact reading of where it is that we can, correlate with symptoms. You can always operate on symptoms in these cases. You can always operate on symptoms. I will get estradiol sensitive on cycle to see where it is, after running aromasin to see where it is in the context of running a cycle. Now that I'm back on TRT doses, for those of you that are curious, because I want to run this Anavar. I'm running it now for 4 days. Today would be day 5. Pretty sure today's day 5. So kind of want to see where the anabolism is. And in that case, I'll run estradiol just to see where it is at this lower level of testosterone. But, listen, regarding estradiol, it's like, if you don't have gyno symptoms, itchy nipples, if you don't have anxiety and mood shit going on, it's usually just erection problems and libido problems with elevated estradiol above your range in a ratio that doesn't make sense for your testosterone. And so executing strategies, whether it's with a low dose AI, it's changing to cream or prop, using a little bit of Primo or Masteron, and then monitoring a person's erections specifically, we can usually fix the problem without having to look at estradiol sensitive, because I do have clients in that situation. Yeah, it's a pain in the ass. It is a pain in the ass. Also, have you noticed if non-sensitive testing usually shows higher or lower? Always higher. Yeah, always higher. Always higher, because it's picking up other shit. That's why you want sensitive. Okay, Jay Brody, why Anavar and not SARMs? Isn't SARMs more selected? Well, I've done a lot of clinical research on oxandrolone, is why I have it number 2. And I think the attractive nature of being able to induce keepable gains is via massive strength upgrades and just a full fucking upgrade to the protein synthesis of the muscle, among other things. That warrants using it over SARMs, in my opinion. Running the testosterone cycle, look, I think I'm only 8 and 6, maybe 14 days post the cycle. Yeah, something to this effect. And for 6 of those, for a handful of those days, I was still running 30 of prop and 3 pumps of cream. So still 3 something of testosterone a week. So, I'm unsure really. I have keepable gains from the cycle. I don't really look much smaller other than water weight, and I'm certainly just as fucking strong. And this is before bringing Anavar in. But, keepable gains is something that's very important to me. Besides being in my, I want to say late 20s, I never really lifted weights. In my late 20s, I lifted weights, and I had a pretty great physique back then. I've got pictures when I was, 28 or 29. I was fucking shredded. and pretty lean and somewhat muscular. So I have some degree of muscle memory, but all through my 30s, I didn't lift weights. I just continued running. So I only really started lifting weights like, I don't know, 3 years ago, going to the gym every day and lifting weights, and got very, very serious 2 years ago about it. Just in really targeting hypertrophy and really trying to progress in weight. And so for me, it's a way to increase anabolism, predictably increase anabolism, to try to attempt to reach keepable gains. That's very important to me. Anavar is one of those compounds that, through my research and through talking with a lot of bodybuilders and through dealing with a few of my clients on Anavar, where you get keepable gains, specifically because it makes you fucking stronger so you can lift more weights. So that's really why. Jay Ross, any experience with bay methyl? I'm trying to optimize during a recovery during a period of intensive cross training. Not quite ready for exogenous hormones. No, I do not have experience with that. Yeah, I mean, if you're not in some situation where they test you, exogenous hormones are going to take your performance above and beyond what you're fucking used to, for sure. I would just shoot for that. Whatever reservations you have are probably unwarranted or as a result of Reddit-based fear mongering. Monitor your bloods and you'll be fine. I mean, if you're just running TRT, nothing's going to go out of range unless you're a smoker, in which case, LDL-C is probably going to go out of range, as well as hematocrit. Smoking very much influences that. Drinking does influence hematocrit to a lesser extent than smoking, but still will influence it. But otherwise, you wouldn't have to really worry about that. Just monitor everything regardless and eat well and treat your body well. Don't treat it like a fucking garbage can. Portugal loves Anavar for the pumps. Have you found a dosage that doesn't affect HDL? I don't know yet. Yeah, I don't know. HDL right now, 53, so slightly lower than previous 55. That was what happened on cycle. That's fucking not bad. So we're going to see. I've only been running it. Today will be the 5th day. I haven't even taken it yet. I'll be taking it after the live stream as I go to the gym at around 11 a.m. here Eastern time. So we'll see. But I'm not going to run HDL, LDL for at least 3 weeks. I'll run cystatin C, CBC, CMP, so I can look at liver enzymes, hematocrit for the fuck of it as well. I don't think it's really going to budget all that much. I'm sitting at 47 last check. So I will run it then so that I can see and if it moves it down or if it fucking, skyrockets my LDL or whatever. But I honestly think that I would need 8 weeks on it for it to really move these needles substantially, considering how my bloods respond to half a gram of test, which are very favorable. It didn't really fuck with anything much. But then again, I don't smoke. I do drink, but not a lot. I eat very well. I sleep incredibly, and I'm doing cardio every day. So yeah, the pumps are insane. I can tell you that it's definitely not placebo. Like after 3 sets, I'm fucking pumped up. Like I just look like insane in the gym, and it's very noticeable. More vascularity, somewhat comparable to Proviron so far. No hair shedding, although again, today's only the 5th day, so who knows? I don't have much to report on that at all, but I am running a very baby Anavar cycle at the moment, and I'm excited about it. I tell you what, though, it does fucking make me feel, kind of like Proviron. It's just like instant confidence and masculinity. It feels really fucking great. Again, stroking the androgen receptors in the brain, these DHT derivatives do a hell of a job that testosterone cannot do. Dan Z, do you post anything about nootropics anymore? No, generally no. And unless people have questions about 9-MEBC and some of the stuff, any of the nootropics I have used, no, I don't really even use modafinil 2 times a month, racetams 2-3 times a month, torque every other day because it's fucking awesome, or maybe a few times a week. I just love torque is like a pre-workout. It can make me motivated to do work when I'm otherwise not really feeling it. It can give me extra energy for dates. Torque is fucking amazing. But no, again, I've talked about this before, but there's a lot of problems with nootropics. Number one, that got us banned 6 times. Okay. Because, YouTube conflates the use of nootropics with the use of illegal pharmaceuticals. And number 2, the nootropics community I recognize is, filled with people that are taking nootropics to paint over dirt. And the dirt is their underlying shitty health. And so in good conscience, I didn't really want to continue talking about it. Plus, I've been doing it and talking about it for 15 years on the web for 8 or 9. I've been through every single nootropic ever made, ever discussed, ever taken, ever experimented with, including fringe research chemicals, and you just run out of video. There's just no more videos. Plus, getting into androgens at the level that I have, it's just so much more sophisticated. It's so much more interesting. And actually, a lot of people that you were using nootropics to cover up health problems, the health problems stemmed from being hypogonadal or close to it. So, it was just a transformation of the channel that had to happen for a variety of reasons. And those are some of the reasons. I also, like a lot of you TRT folks, hormone folks, you guys are more likely to be into personal development. Whereas again, the nootropics guys were just trying to paint over dirt and didn't want to do anything else relative to lifestyle. It was just a weird thing. Still love them, just don't take as much and really rely on a pre-made stack called Torque that we build, which is fucking phenomenal. I mean, just phenomenal, bro. For instant energy. Yeah, creatine's pretty good. Creatine's somewhat anabolic. It's not going to be anywhere comparable to anything that we typically talk about here, but it wouldn't hurt. Okay, realistically, how possible is it to restore natural hormone function after a period of TRT? It depends on the duration of time that you're on TRT, is what I would say. If you jump on for 6 months and then you can't get your protocol straight, probably because you've been fed bullshit on Reddit or from the TRT hormone optimization guys about not managing estrogen, or you're using an inferior ester like testosterone cypionate, or an inferior delivery method like shallow IM or something, or your dose is not right, or your lifestyle's not right, or whatever, then you'd have to get off. But if none of those things are true, or say some of them are and you want to get off anyway, then yeah, I mean, using some SERMs to PCT, you'll get your natural function back. Now, how high your testosterone will be after you get off the SERM really then depends on your lifestyle thereafter, and probably the intake of supplements and enough cholesterol in your diet. All right, Carnivore Fisherman, in case you didn't know, DHT Powder Source said they will be out for the next month due to demand. I just recently looked and they did have it. So let me see if at the moment they've got DHT. Why is it not? Oh, there we go. Well, they have one package with a bunch of other stuff plus DHT at 10 grams. But they don't have the typical DHT, and that is because, at this stage, what is it? It's almost 2,000 purchases of the source list. So think about it. 2,000 people purchased the source list since I launched it a month ago. So that is definitely why that's happening. But they'll have it back in stock ASAP. I mean, yeah. And what isn't out of stock is DHT gel. And there's 2 vendors for DHT gel, by the way. So, go have at it. But yeah, the DHT powder, it's already been out of stock once and they refilled it back in a week. So something to think about. All right, Daniel, for test prop, did you notice any difference in having less PIP if the carrier oil is grapeseed versus MCT? Nope, it's not the carrier oil. Nope, I've tested that. Yeah, it's not the carrier oil. It is propionic acid or whatever fucking is propionate. That's what it is. It is. Yeah, it's just, kind of, makes the tissues a little sore. The best way to avoid that is to inject it in the glute. Inject it in the glute with a 1.5-inch needle. None of this shallow IM shit. Don't do sub-Q. Inject it in the glute. Warm the vial before injection, and you're going to have a lot better of a time. Yeah. Yeah, buddy. Dream big. If my total T is 1,500, free T's at 250 picograms per milliliter, what would you recommend max E2 levels be with those numbers? 50? No. I recommend that your estradiol be between 25 and 40. That's what I would recommend. Now, you're going to have to experiment because there is a subset of individuals who will do better in terms of libido and erections at 45 or so. But, when it comes to 50, 55, well, then they start not being able to climax and having to think about really dirty shit in order to climax. In other words, they're not getting enough dopamine to easily be able to focus on climaxing during sex, which would make sense because estrogen inhibits dopamine firing in the arcuate nucleus, which is very fucking important for hypothalamic dopamine throughput. Okay, this is the shit the pro-estrogen people will never tell you and never have fucking bothered to study because they're lazy. So yeah, that's what I'd suggest. Keep it in that range and you should be fine. But ultimately, you got to find the range that makes sense for you. I can't push above 50 with 4,000 tests because then, erections start getting a little weird. So, and libido. But if I'm at 40 with 4,000 tests, beautiful. If I'm at 1,200 tests, which is kind of close to where you're at, yeah, I need to be 20 to 30. 20 to 35, and then I'm good. But also ester matters, like I could be at 35 with 1,000 tests with cypionate and not have much libido. Erections will be okay, but roughly the same numbers, but with testosterone cream as an example, and I'm a walking erection. More DHT, less estradiol. Just a better fucking ratio, everything. That's why cream is so powerful. Okay, Christopher, how much of a difference does the test cream application location make? Yeah, this does matter. You're going to get more DHT with the testicular application, definitely. The hallmark study of this, called the pharmacokinetics of testosterone cream applied to the scrotal skin, that's exactly what it's called, shows us very clearly that you get, even on the pretty higher doses in the study, less estradiol, more DHT, and a pretty good amount of testosterone. So that does make sense. Now, if you're doing high doses of cream, you might get too low estradiol for the DHT and the testosterone. I've run into that before, in which case you'd have to rub it on the shoulders. But no one's going to be running cycle levels of testosterone cream like I was. I just do experimental shit. My honest advice, though, if TRT doses of cream, rub it on the testicles. Definitely. TRT doses, definitely. All right, Daniel, I love that. Michael, hi, I'm Michael. I love last names that are first name. Hi, I'm Dan Richard. It's fucking hilarious, but I know that's probably not your name. Can I recap what I use tocotrienols for? Two things: hair loss and lipid control. Yeah, the mechanism by which tocotrienols can lower your LDL and prevent your HDL from lowering is the same mechanism by which statins do that, control your lipids. Yeah. So hair loss and lipids. There's one pretty big study on tocotrienols that show that in 35% of the people using it, they experienced hair growth. And then in a larger percentage, they mitigated hair loss. Not going to work for everybody. If you're running loads of prop, which is going to peak your free testosterone very fucking high, that's going to cause shedding kind of regardless, even if you don't have the MPB gene. That's sort of a bit of a misnomer. You can have good genes, but past a certain threshold, your genes don't matter. You're still going to, start upregulating shit, and you're going to start putting yourself in the position where you can have MPB. Regular doses of TRT with some tocotrienols, yeah, you're probably not going to lose hair unless you're really genetically susceptible to that. Steve Wonderful, is prop better every day or every other day? Sub Q and I am. I am definitely. My opinion on this is it depends. Okay. If you're doing it every day, you're going to get, you ultimately get more of a steadier state estradiol that, if it lands in the right place based on your dose, is perfect. But if it doesn't, then you'll have to manage it, usually with a little CDG or zinc. You don't really need an AI usually unless you're overweight. Whereas every other day dosing, you give your body a chance to clear some of that estradiol. Like each time you urinate, you're clearing estradiol, assuming your liver is clearing estradiol. Your body is good at clearing estradiol. And so the levels will lower, especially if you give it time in between injections, which is good, because then you're ready for your next injection in a lower estrogen state, which is the recipe for better erections and libido. Estrogen can still rise thereafter, but it has a peak and starts going down quickly. Then again, you're lower for the next injection. And then you just end up in a nice even homeostasis of estradiol, where it does go up, but it does drop back down, but it stays in a very favorable range, so that 24 hours a day you have erections. Not only you have erections during the day, you have libido, you respond instantly to sexual cues, but also you have nocturnals, as well. Like, again, on lower doses of cream, as I mentioned in the previous video, I think the last video, people usually never have to take ancillaries to control estrogen, and they just have fucking hard erections. I had to switch to lower doses of cream to run this Anavar cycle to really gauge the fucking anabolism and the pumps and the keepable gains. So I'm at 3 pumps of cream. And, you know, yeah, I'm running Anavar now, but like the last 3 nights after making this change, you know, I have erections all fucking night. Yeah, just from doing that. So again, that's because of this more balanced estrogen state where, yes, it goes up, but it goes back down, which is what you want. Good morning. Is modafinil on the source list? Modafinil, I mean, there'd be really one vendor that would have modafinil, and it is possible. Let me just quick check for you. No, they don't have it. Well, what about, okay, what about that one? I actually think that one of the vendors does have it. I just have to look at the domestic price list real quick to determine that. But no, I mean, either way, like you're likely, you're better off getting modafinil elsewhere, other than, why is this taking so long to load? Like, you know, an anabolic source list. It's not an anabolic, so I would oh, look at that, a little bit upgraded. Yeah, I don't see modafinil on there. Hey, pretty cool. They upgraded their list. Fucking awesome. Okay, Zachary Chase, from your last video on cream, do you still recommend scrotal application? Also, what specific brand pregnenolone do you use? I'm using Douglas Laboratories, I believe. And yeah, I for TRT doses, always put it on the scrotum. Yeah, because then you're going to get the favorable DHT estradiol ratio for erections and libido. Definitely. Thanks for the super chat, brother. All right, Sabaran Sacrone. What's the best way to prevent hair loss when taking pro hormones that really upregulate DHT? Is topical finasteride and minoxidil the best way to prevent hair loss and follicle miniaturization? Technically speaking, the answer to that question is yes. Finasteride and minoxidil are the best ways. However, they are profoundly unsafe. You know, you should Google or you should YouTube the documentary Post-Finasteride Syndrome Deniers. Just that. You'll find an hour and a half long, just a big long documentary that I made, which breaks down every piece of relevant literature, which shows us very clearly that dihydrotestosterone is the androgen responsible for your erections. Testosterone contributes to an extent. Dihydrotestosterone contributes so much more to an extent that if you give a rat testosterone plus finasteride, they have ED. But if you give that same rat finasteride plus 5-alpha dihydrotestosterone or DHT, then their erections are restored. So you're barking up the wrong tree asking me to approve, you know, finasteride. The best thing you can do is, you know, watch your free testosterone, make sure it doesn't go super, super high, and take a boatload of tocotrienols, do microneedling, and yeah, use some argan oil as a shampoo. Those are the best things you can do without really fucking with DHT. My sip is doing me fantastic with no AI. Yeah, again, people can respond well to cypionate. It's just not common. You know, it's just, that's where all the problems really tend to lie, in the use of testosterone cypionate. Okay. Ryan Parsons, my provider has the option for testosterone enanthate, but won't switch me over from cypionate unless I wean and crash for bloods. So I grabbed it from a source. Great. Good. Exactly. It's like, why the fuck not? Why wouldn't they change it for you? You know, you want to, what is your provider, by the way? Because, you know, I have said to Defy, yeah, I just want to try testosterone enanthate, and they were perfectly fine with it. So that's retarded that they would not give it to you. But this is what Sourceless is for. I mean, sometimes you're going to have this ridiculous decision making on the side of the, you know, of the TRT clinics. Like, for one stupid reason or the other, they want to do what might be necessary, or maybe something that you might want to fucking try. And so you just circumvent them. Just get the source lists, and you'll have vendors forever that are fucking awesome. If you're in the States, you're going to have vendors that ship to your doorstep in 4 days. Just do that. Injection frequency, I think it should be the same thing, frankly, unless you're running a cycle, which, you know, then you probably want to do it every other day. But on TRT doses, every third or fourth day, for sure. for sure. It's just going to be better estrogen dynamics because you want to trough on that. And then estrogen to be low as you re-inject, definitely every third or fourth day. Yeah. Again, as I said, my fail-safe protocol, if I go too far into the fucking deep end doing experiments and I mess something up, fail-safe for long esters is 70 milligrams every fourth day. Just no AI, no nothing, no HCG, no nothing. It just then everything works really well. Mr. R, should I take a aromatase inhibitor if my estradiol is 54 picograms per milliliter? Oh, what you should explore a number of different possibilities. One being the use of a DHT derivative that acts as an AI. Two being the reduction of your testosterone dose, or the changing, if you're on a long ester, to something like testosterone cream or testosterone propionate. And of three, the use of between 25 and 50 milligrams of zinc per day. For the use of same doses of zinc with 500 to 1500 milligrams calcium D-glucarate per day if you can tolerate it. Some people get detox responses from that shit. And then if all else fails, yeah, get yourself some aromacin and start at 3.25 milligrams once a week and dial in from there. By the way, hair's looking fantastic. Thank you, brother. Yeah, it just hasn't suffered much, man. I mean, the tocotrienol is probably helping to an extent. The microneedling definitely helping. I mean, that stuff's got literature behind it. You just got to do it often enough and deep enough. I'm using a 1.5 inch needle, so I fucking bleed when I do it. I don't care. It hurts. I'm in the shower like, ow, God, ow, God. But it's worth keeping my hair, you know? Also, I have great genes, though. Yeah. You know, I can't discount that or say that I've somehow found the solution for hair loss. My genes are a major player there. But thankfully, yeah, I mean, again, the only thing that gives me hair loss is lots of Proviron. So just jacking up the free test. Yeah, it's also synthetic DHT. High doses of prop, anything above 50 milligrams a day will give me some hair shedding. 500 of Enethate a week did not touch my hair at all. Curious though to see running a baby dose of Anavar, if that's going to mess with my hair. We'll see. All right, 2 questions from Fuad. Fuad. Thoughts on Anavar plus an AI only cycle? I think that is a bad idea. Yeah, that's not a purposeless cycle because you will gain anabolism and strength and muscle. You'll have mild shutdown of the testicles via Anavar, although it's less of a shutdown for natural people than other anabolic steroids. Still a percentage shutdown, you know, not completely. But, you know, if you're running just Anavar, that's a non-aromatizable androgen. So you're not going to make estradiol other than from your natural test. And if it's going to lower, which it will, your natural test to an extent, you're going to make less estradiol and you probably run into low estrogen symptoms. So that would not be a good idea in my opinion. Zachary Chase, what are your thoughts on what's your non-TRT supplement stack? Right now, well, again, in the morning, it's a battery of stuff, B complex, 6,000 IU vitamin D, 400 milligrams tocotrienols right away with another 400 later in the day. I think it's, 800 milligrams of Tutka. I had take a pill of a bovine desiccated thyroid supplement, which is just fucking awesome for energy every day. Been doing that for like a year and a half. I'll never go back to not treating, but aiding my thyroid and functioning really fucking well. That's a big difference in energy. What else is down there? And then are there any normal like regulars? I know that I'm missing something. I must be missing something. No, again, the occasional use of zinc if I'm trying to manage estradiol, which usually happens only on higher doses of stuff. And if I miss something, I apologize, but that's about it. I have 5 milligrams of Dalafil per day. That's it right now. N/N. Good morning. Been off for 11 months and I recovered my testosterone in the mid 400s. Yeah, see, this is for that guy that asked. This is the kind of shit that does happen though too. You know, if you're on too long or if you're on in general, sometimes it's just hard to recover your testosterone levels. Recovered to the mid 400. Erections are painful and wiener shape different now. So you might want to look at whether or not you've got Peyronie's, some degree of Peyronie's happening. Went to 2 urologists and they have no idea. I fucking couldn't tell you what the hell are happening here. What's happening here? Erections are painful. That indicate you're having priapisms, which is kind of a good thing. I mean, maybe your blood flow is fucking super optimized. I couldn't help you here. I need more information than this, man. Tavis Ricksecker. Hey, Ryan, just switched to prop from Sippany. Congratulations. Congratulations on what will almost definitely be a much better of a time. 50 milligrams per day and feeling good. Yeah, that's a great dose. You know, that's a good starter dose. You know, I usually say start with 20, but, you know, might take people's estrogen a little high. Well, it depends on what you can tolerate. But 15 is good as well. Your testosterone at peak might be above measurable standard test measurable range. It might be above 1500 on that. People really, I'm telling you, man, you'll be surprised how quickly and how high your test goes from a little bit of prop. How long to stay at this level before considering titration? Generally speaking, 3 to 4 weeks. Yeah. It's not that you need to develop a steady state blood level of this testosterone. It's that the androgen receptors, your estradiol receptors, ERB, ERA, but also potentially ARs in the brain, tyrosine hydroxylase, neurotransmitter quantity and receptor function. These things all take time to respond to your new testosterone dose. You know, androgen receptors in the penis as well, I think, and endothelial function, blood flow optimization, these kinds of things. So, you know, people do themselves a disservice when they switch from protocol to protocol without giving it at least 4 weeks. So in the case of prop, 4 weeks, if you're having a problem, it's usually related to estradiol. Run it's estradiol sensitive so you can see where it is, and then make an informed decision after you've given yourself enough time. Regaining natural testosterone after blasting and cruising for years is going to be a lot more difficult than like if you had just been doing TRT or running a little bit of TRT for 6 months. Doesn't mean it's not possible, but you know, it'll be more difficult. Older you get, especially, it's going to be more difficult. I would really just go to a TRT dose of testosterone and enjoy, you know, being, you know, more anabolic than most of your friends and being at what'll ultimately be a higher level of testosterone than most men, you know. I would just do that. And figure out ways to control hematocrit if that was your problem, or figure out how to manage whatever was your problem that made you get off. Okay, Fuad, I have an aptitude test coming up where I have to retext in like 30 seconds. Should I take PRL 853, bromotain, modafinil, and enhance my cognitive ability? PRL 853 would be the best of those options to do that. Yep, that shit's pretty powerful. It's a memory-centric drug. I remember being able to, when I took that stuff, I would just, yeah, I mean, like I could remember phone numbers. Like if a girl gave me a phone number, like she just said 412-538-455, I would remember it. Like I just remember these long chains of information, whereas normally it's just harder to do that. You got to say it 5 times. I could remember a number if I say it a lot. PRL is one of the best memory nootropics ever. John Harper loves the source list. Awesome. Yeah, glad, brother. I mean, it's I don't know where the hell the source list is. I know it's pretty close though. Yeah, test 4000. Test 4000. Got all kinds of physique on cycle. Oh, there it is. All right, yeah, source list, boys. Yeah, list of anything, all anabolics you can think of, including DHT gel. Do DHT-derived steroids increase dopamine in the brain? Now, yeah, I do think that they do increase either. I don't see them increasing dopamine quantity because I don't really see a mechanism for that, but they probably increase the rate at which you fire dopamine in certain regions. Yep, because that feeling, the feeling of it's very comparable. The feeling of DHT, Proviron, Anavar for me, even Primobolan, I ran a little bit of that during my cycle, feels comparable to some heavy dopamine nootropics. Yep. Travis, you've asked this 8 times and people have told you in the comments, no one, only compounding pharmacies make testosterone cream. Now, you could get testosterone, pure testosterone, and make your own cream at whatever percentage you want, at which case you'd have to ask ChatGPT exactly how to do that, and it will tell you. Simon Stone, any difference in terms of effect between testosterone cream and testosterone gel? Yeah, testosterone cream peaks higher, quicker. You end up with more DHT and lower estrogen. Big difference. Saul Palmetto. That's a 5-alpha reductase inhibitor, causes sexual dysfunction in some subset of men. I don't really have thoughts on primabol and acetate tablets. You generally want to inject DHT derivatives, not take them orally. Those are not oral steroids. Oral steroid would be Anavar, Proviron, etc. Steve Wonderful, switching from SIP 100 milligrams twice weekly. What's a good starting dose for prop? Also on 1 click of cream twice per day. Well, in that case, if you don't want your estrogen going too high, 10 milligrams prop, 15. Yeah, and then kind of go from there. These fast acting modalities boost your testosterone a lot higher than people think and are ready for. Yeah, I mean they trough, so the estradiol again goes down, which is very fucking useful. But you're switching from 200. If you didn't have to take an AI on that, yeah, click a cream twice a day, and like 15 to 20 milligrams of prop would probably be fine for you. But if you run into estrogen problems, either if you can tolerate AI, start using one of those, Aromacin preferably, or reduce your doses of stuff. Saw palmetto will also inhibit 5-alpha reductase. That's the mechanism by which it might help with balding, which is not good for your dick. Simon, since you said in your last video one of your go-tos is 3 pumps of cream and 30 milligrams pregnenolone, what differences would you notice if you didn't use pregnenolone? Me personally, I don't get overstimulation from testosterone anymore. I did previously. Can I attribute that to the use of pregnenolone? It's probably the continued use of testosterone over many years and a reorganizing of neurotransmitter systems in response to that. So homeostatic regulatory response. But pregnenolone, first of all, helps you. You're going to make a little more DHEA. Your testicular function is going to be slightly better, especially if you're not running HCG in this case. And cream can be, if you're not used to it, cream can be really fucking stimulating. It can just like you had drank a bunch of energy drinks that and you went way over your threshold. So people that tend to have like a stimulant response from certain testosterone modalities take pregnenolone, and via the GABAergic receptor modification, then they can tolerate the testosterone. So that's one of the reasons you want to be on it. Testicular function, the creation of some of the other hormones, cortisol, DHEA. You want these hormones because you're going to be generally deficient or close to deficient or not as optimal when you just go on TRT and you're not using HCG. All right. Can't say your name here, Mr. Productions. Oh wait, did I lose it? I have PTSD, no motivation and can't focus. Pace around, need something to set me on the right track so I can motivate to cook and work out. You have PTSD from what? From what do you have PTSD from? And how is it making it so that you can't be motivated and focus? I'm an Iraq war vet. Yeah, I saw my section sergeant. His name is Marlon Harper, Marlon Harper. Fucking bleed out in front of me, dead. Okay. And many more other people in my company, my battalion, enemies die and bleed out. Yeah, I have fucking PTSD. It doesn't stop me from being motivated. It motivates me fucking more. Yeah, I really think you ought to figure that out, man. Hold on a sec. I think my stream just took a dump. Don't do that, stream. Thank you. Please don't take a dump. But you gotta have to figure this out, man. You got to figure this out. Is it a neurotransmitter problem? Are you depressed? Is it some other problem that you need to address? Yeah. Those of us with PTSD, you man up and you deal with it, bro. You deal with it. You got to figure out a way to deal with it. Get strong. Get strong in the gym. Raise your testosterone levels, man. Do anything you can to do that. If that means going on TRT, go on TRT. Start making something out of yourself. Start having discipline to go to the gym and exercise and have wins every day. Don't sit and ponder on it. The incident that happened in 2007, it was April 21st, 2007, where my section sergeant was fucking killed in front of me in Iraq in a fucking, was ultimately a Dishka round that was manufactured to fit on a sniper rifle, which was brought into the country by fucking Hezbollah, killed my section sergeant, injured my first lieutenant, Josh Mance, who was on CNN talking about the fucking story at MSNBC. I don't think about that event. I don't think about it. If I went and recounted it in my head, yeah, I would feel pretty fucked up, man. Don't think about what gave you PTSD, Think about all good things and positive things and become stronger, and you'll be better. off, but get your testosterone levels up. That's what I would suggest you do. I don't know where we are now because my stream took a dump. Brethren. Ryan suggests go to get someone to see someone at the VA that maybe helps in trauma. Yeah, they might help. I never had particularly useful times dealing with that. Like, you know, my PTSD was worse in the first 3 years after I got back from Iraq. Obviously, it's gotten better over the years. Still, shit will happen. Not loud things. That's being fucking dramatic, but shit will happen. It triggers it, and I'm just like, okay, this is what this is my brain's response to this. I'm all good. But the psychologists at the VA never helped me personally. They'd be like, because I'm verbally fluent. I seem normal. They're like, you're fine. You know, and so but that could help you. Who knows? Tavis, thanks for the $5, brother. And this thing that this guy was talking about probably is Peyronie's. Yeah, does testosterone improve cognition? Fuck yeah, it does. Hell yeah, man. Yes, definitely. Yeah, just the sustainable energy throughout the course of the day. When I was on cycle with these numbers, 8 p.m. when, like, you know, mortals start to get tired, I'd be like, let's go. Anyone want to do some math? Let's do some quick maths. I just could, but I could still sleep fine. Like, you know, when it was time to go to bed, I'd, you know, put on some thunder and lightning storms on YouTube or maybe some Alex Jones and fucking go to sleep. But my energy was insane. So yes, it improves your cognition even at TRT levels. Yes, again, I've said this probably about 100 times, but I'll say it again. There's international vendors on the source lists. Thank you, brethren. Zachary, what if my E2 is still too high on 3 pumps of cream, calcium D-glucarate? Well, if it's high on the labs and you're having dick and sexual desire problems, then yes, you could try calcium D-glucarate. And I would pair it with 25 to 50 milligrams of zinc per day. If those things aren't helping it revive sexual function, just get on a low dose of aromacin. You can even take the dose of cream up to 4 pumps and then low dose of aromacin. But you got to give this 2 weeks to balance out. If you're coming from a long ester, it's leaving your system, you still have elevated estradiol, you know, you're not going to see the effect in a mere 3 days. Every time I've had to fail safe, which has been, I don't know, 4 or 5 times, had to fail safe back to the fail safe 3 pumps cream protocol for me. Erections and libido came back full force in like day 4, day 5. So, and that's regardless of whether there was a long ester in the picture before. So, maybe something to think about. Brethren, Slave to the Iron with a $5 super chat. Thank you, brother. Is it injectable DHT comparable to topical and oral in terms of effects? Now, I don't know about this because, you know, I've never used injectable DHT or tried to make a solution from the DHT I have that is injectable, although it is possible. I just never was interested in that. The best, most consistent effects from DHT, oral DHT, would be to dose it 2 or 3 times a day. It depends on what you're trying to do, though, you know. I mean, if you're just taking it as a recreational thing, yeah, twice a day dose at 20 to 30 milligrams, and you'll feel it, you'll notice it. You know, you'll have benefits on the sexual function regardless. You're going to be ejaculating more volume, your sensation will be much better, your testicles will function better. Yeah, DHT is pretty fucking critical, man, for testicular function and sensation and erectile quality. But I don't have a lot of experience with injectables. I couldn't really help you there. All right, Anthony with the super chat from looks like Euro. Hey, bro, test P 35 milligrams every day. 250 IU-HCG every other day, DHEA, P5P, DHT, Cialis, 10 milligrams every day. Feel great and strong. Morning wood is great, but the brain libido isn't. Any idea what do I try next? If the brain libido isn't good, I think the first step would be to remove the HCG. Yeah, remove the HCG. Considering you're on test P, which is going to suppress you a lot less than any other ester, then the testicles will probably remain somewhat functional. You will get some shrinkage, but they won't completely, you know, retract into your body likely, and things will be relatively fine. Take some lecithin so that you have ejaculate volume, and that system will be great. And that'll lower your estrogen enough and potentially prevent the stroking of progesterone receptors, which may be happening with HCG. All right. That might be the fucking problem here. Yeah. You don't want anything to do with high progesterone, or even in range progesterone, but agonism of the progesterone receptors, which HCG has the potential to do. I haven't proven it yet, but I'm pretty sure that it has the potential to do that, which would be inhibitory to 5-HT2 5-alpha reductase, which is going to inhibit your DHT. So that'd be the first thing I would suggest doing. Yeah. Everything else here looks fine. Just remove that HCG. Yeah. If all else fails, take that prop dose down to 20 milligrams a day and still remove the HCG, and I bet you'll have everything back. You're just going to have to dial in, and it's almost always about estradiol. Yeah, your E is 47. That's not bad for 2485, but you probably need to be at 30. You probably need to be at 30. That's what, you should probably do, is execute those suggestions, man. Take that HCG out. That alone is going to take that E2 down 40, 35. Like it's going to go down significantly. Again, on testosterone cypionate, when I first started, 210 milligrams a week. This was injected every day. Estradiol was 35. I added HCG at 250 IU every day, which is not a high dose of HCG, and my estradiol went to 55. That's a 20-point increase. So something to think about. Sure, brother. Appreciate you, man. You're welcome, bro. May sound so subtle on chat, but you really are changing lives. Absolutely, Brent. Hey, man. No, it doesn't. It's great. I'm thankful for that. Again, dude, I know how much value fucking people like Vigorous Steve give me. And like, dude, who other like really valuable YouTubers outside of this space, like so many in the business and the entrepreneurship space, have given me so much fucking value, dude. Changed my life in a lot of ways. So I understand, man. I'm glad I can do my part, my little part. Looks like Tetractyl's PTSD is from your mom's death. Well, I can give you as much condolences as I can. But I know it won't make much of an impact, and that does fucking suck. That fucking sucks. That fucking sucks, man. That fucking sucks, dude. It's gonna be with you for a while. I'll tell you guys a quick story, man. So yeah, I went to Iraq and watched some people die. Was in gunfights where people died, and these days, like I don't really think about it much, and there are things that happen that bring it up, and like whatever, I'm fine because I've learned to deal with it. That's it. But one time, about 2 months ago, I was at a bar, and it was right around Halloween, and this guy came in dressed in this really freaky fucking red-faced costume with a black robe. No one knew who he was. We're like, oh, is it a regular? He crept around the bar, started touching some of the girls, and that's when he got me and this other guy's attention. It's like, after 7 minutes, take your mask off, show us you're a regular, and then cool, you're playing a little Halloween joke. But this guy kept creeping around the bar, fucking with the females, and he just was really strange, and no one recognized him. After about 5 minutes of that, me and this one other guy put our beers down, started drinking water, and started fucking paying attention to this guy. And for the next 25 minutes, this guy didn't take his mask off. We had talked to him, hey, just take your mask off, show people who you were. And he was still fucking with us. He's like, nope. He was doing this. He was going, nope. And then walking away. So we stopped drinking, me and this guy. This is very important because this guy behaved exactly like I was behaving. Stop drinking. I can't focus on anything else. I got to make sure this guy's not a threat. There are women here. Now, I don't know who the fuck he is. No one knows who he is. Everybody else is like a little concerned. Finally, we get the guy to take his fucking mask off, and he is a guy that goes there, and he probably just got too loaded and was playing a fucking joke. Anyway, what an asshole. So I talked to the guy who was also just like me. Stopped drinking right away, started drinking water, starts focusing on this guy. And he looked just as bothered as I looked. And I get to talking with him, and I told him, somehow me being an Iraq vet came up, but it was after I think he told me this guy was at the fucking Trump rally next to Corey Comparator, who was shot and killed. I live in Pittsburgh. That Trump rally's in Butler. It's 35 minutes north of us. People from Butler are here all the time. This guy had just watched Corey Comparator die, and those other two guys get shot. It was at the fucking Trump rally. And it was his first, oh fuck. it was his first time, you know, he's new to PTSD. He's new to it. So if you're new to it, I feel for you. It gets better. Just keep fucking trucking, bro. That's all I can tell you. Fuck, sorry, guys. Shit. All right. Travis, I'm trying to pull it together, dude. If you were having problems with a source on the list, one that starts with an H in particular, what would you do, or what would you recommend? Say, example, if you pay but there's no correspondence. Oh, I think you might have emailed me. Yeah, you're referring to Hunter, and Hunter can get overwhelmed with product at some time. You just have to keep emailing him. Yeah, you just keep emailing him. If you emailed me and I CC'd him on this, he should have gotten your email. It's entirely possible because, again, I mean, at this point, there's like 2,100 purchases of the source list. So the vendors are pretty overwhelmed. Like, they all still have product for the most part, but they're just getting order after order after order after order after order. So that's probably why. Just email. Just, you know, email the email, which I believe is included on the source list, so that, you know, you could get your product. Also, if one of the things that I saw in a few people is that if they paid Bitcoin and they rounded the total number, it doesn't correlate with the order. So the order kind of gets lost in translation. Then you got to deal with that discrepancy through the ultimate person that runs this source. So that could be a problem too, right? Again, you got to contact the source and make sure that they understand that discrepancy if that in fact did happen. But regarding Hunter, I mean, I just got a bunch of shit last week from Hunter, so that's not common. You got to look into, I guarantee something happened with your payment. All right, Steve Wonderful, when stocking up on prop, what's the shelf life for storage requirements? Yeah, I think just put it in a cool place. Keep it room temperature. Don't have it super hot or super cold, and then you'll be fine. I've got prop from a while back that, you know, I would still use, definitely. I have Sippany from 2 years ago that I would use if the apocalypse came. I would use it. Yeah. All right, Tavis? Are you sure you didn't mean Travis? Okay, if you feel great on TRT without HEG, is HEG worth trying? Yeah, this is a good question. Look, no, not necessarily. No, it's not. You know, like, in fact, it'll probably complicate your fucking protocol. Yeah, because it's going to raise your estrogen 15 to 20 points on top of where you are right now. And that, and also maybe mess with progesterone receptors. And it might also give you cognitive symptoms, anxiety, etc., that you don't want. I'm finally turned on to the idea that HEG isn't for everybody. It took a lot of convincing, and really broke this, was the straw that broke the camel's back, was this big long paper on how science now thinks, at least these scientists are contending, that we all, like the scientific community, got it wrong when they said that HCG was an LH mimetic and that it could be used in a similar fashion. They're like, we got this wrong because HCG does all these other things too. So yeah, no, I mean, if you're dialed in, don't add it. It's almost definitely going to make things fucking worse. Yes, wins every day for sure. Regarding this PTSD stuff, yeah, just rewatched, you know, what I just said to you guys a few minutes back. You'll get through it. You'll get over it. You know, well, losing a family member is fucking tough either way, especially if it's somebody you really love, has been with you for a while. Unfortunately, death is a part of life. It's a shitty fucking part of life. You know, when your cat who you love so much eventually dies, that's gonna suck. And your people's dogs die. It just fucking sucks. I was exposed to death young. My dad died when I was 15, and it wasn't a really sad state of affairs because he was a piece of shit of a human being and an alcoholic. And so it was more like liberating, but you know, it's a weird state of affairs. It's bizarre. Death is fucking bizarre. Yeah, pregnenolone is pro kappa. Yeah. I take oral pregnenolone, 30 milligrams a day. Steve got a shadow back. Yes, he did. VA shrinks heart choke. Yeah. Fucking Vigorous Steve is back up and running. And even the WADA video that we think got him banned is up. So yeah, it just goes to show you, man, hit up the people on Twitter, make sure a manual review team looks at the content in the channel, and enough blowback from the community, man. You know, I had gotten like 20 people on Twitter to go and tweet YouTube and say, look, this channel shouldn't be down. And there were other people that were facilitating that too. So enough of that social proof. And here we go. The channel's back up. Does topical minoxidil go systemic? Yes, it does. There are papers on this, but if you want to hear a dumbed down version of it, just watch Dr. Peter Attia and Derek from MPMD discuss this. In that, Derek breaks down like a layman version of the science behind how topical DHT inhibitors go systemic. Yeah. It's on YouTube. All right. Nosy Blacklight. Is increase in aromatization the only way alcohol can ruin boners? It's prolactin too. Yeah, it's prolactogenic. Yeah, instantly prolactogenic. So that is, see, this is tricky because it depends. Either way, it's going to increase prolactin. But if you're drinking like certain kinds of red wine, those grapes have aromatase inhibitors in them, like some of the flavonoids or something are, inhibit aromatase. So in some, like if you're drinking like certain kinds of red wine, it's the estrogen isn't going to be a problem, but the prolactin will. Prolactin rises when you consume alcohol. It is I believe the largest contributor to whiskey dick. Whiskey dick, man. And we all know that fucking happens, bro. You'll need Trimix for some serious whiskey dicks to in order to have sex. Daniel, ever encounter issues with benign prostate hyperplasia? I have not personally, but again, also my PSA's never risen out of like the very, very low end of the range, even on cycle levels of testosterone. So gotta be genetics or something. Again, I haven't, for most of my adult life, I never was a big drinker. And so that really does contribute to prostate problems. All right, brother, looking bigger and better. Any plans for contest? Oh, no, definitely not me. Yeah, I'm not, I wouldn't, in order to be contest ready, I'd have to be leaner, bigger, like some of the acne that sprung up from my cycle, which I'm still kind of clearing. I'd have to run Accutane for that, which I wouldn't fucking do. And fuck with my dick probably. So no, but thank you, man. I'm just honestly not a bodybuilder. I'm interested in, modifying my physique like everybody else is. And, I'm just messing around with stuff, man. Just messing about, brethren, but no contest. What are my thoughts on testosterone acetate? So that's shorter half-life than prop and less PIP. Don't know a whole lot about it. I got some in the mail. Oh, well, that's fucking great. Yeah, good luck. Yeah, you know what? Let me make a note of that because I want to source that to try it. Yeah. Yeah, synthesized first in 1936. Yeah, very early on. Yeah, it's something I might want to give a try at some point. But good luck, bro. I don't really know. Don't know. Brother, what's wrong with my stiffness to my hips and shoulders? I have to adjust them more than one time daily. Is it gallbladder? Am I considering no idea, brother. No idea, man. I need some context on your health. You look at some of your blood, so estradiol. I wouldn't really know where to look. Do you have an autoimmune disease that's causing some problem? Jim Maximum, on average, those who get ED issues on 1x a week TRTs because test is too low or too high estrogen. It depends on the dose. But if you get erectile issues on once a week, then the dose might be too high. Yeah, that might be why. But it's all in the context of like whatever else you might be doing. If you're using HCG, estrogen is going to go higher, going to lead to more ED issues. If you're not, then yeah, the dose might just be a little too high for you to deal with. If you're not going to manage estrogen, right? Like if you don't want to manage estrogen with an AI or something, then take your dose down for sure. Ultimately, switch esters. You'll have a lot better time on cream. But yeah, yep. The safe erectile dose, assuming you're not pretty overweight, for a long ester injected infrequently, is like 140, 150. Now, you got guys that tolerate 200 and they're absolutely fine with no AI, and they're anomalies typically. Yeah, you need some degree of estrogen control on 200 milligrams usually. But the fail safe is usually 70 milligrams every third or fourth day. Yeah, and that'll, if you just split it up like that, guarantee that'll solve the problem. Just try 70 every fourth day. Thoughts on HMG? Not a whole lot. Not something I've experimented with all that much. So, you know, I think it would be better than HCG though. Yes, because it's more bioidentical. How long does to notice a change in libido from Injectum or DHT gel? I had a change in libido on day 1. Day 2, probably. Yeah, it was. I more had a dramatic increase in sensation. I had more ejaculate volume, and that just made me want to have sex or fucking masturbate. So it was pretty quick, but that's in the context of a dialed in TRT protocol as well. You know, like good levels of testosterone and DHT as it stands, and controlled estradiol in a good range. Preston consulted with ChatGPT, and it seems like oral DHT is less than 5% bioavailable. Do you think I should make a demo solution containing DHT and rub it on my shoulders? A transdermal solution? Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, I mean, this is one of the, it's still very powerful though. And that's kind of why, you know, my suggestions are between the 10 and 50 milligram dose range. It's still fucking very powerful, man. I mean, Proviron is not that bioavailable, you know, it's really not, but it's so fucking powerful. You don't need a lot of it in order to create the effect that you want. So it's still extremely, extremely potent, dude. Fucking take some, you know, you'll see. But you know, if you're gonna make a gel, ask ChatGPT. Yeah, exactly. With DMSO, aloe vera, and the DHT, what concentrations? If you want a 4 or 5% gel, which would be 2 to 3% more than Andractum, which is the only commercially available, one of the 2 commercially available DHT gels, then yeah, then you'll have a higher percentage. Ryan Parsons says HEG ain't for me, dog. Yeah, bro. Yeah, it's just not for everybody, man. I'm considering dropping it just to see, you know, because of all this research, but I'm not ready to do that quite yet. I've had a lot of success with clients with it, but that's been happening for years, with it and with dropping it. Time of the day, I take pregnenolone right in the morning. So it's about 5:45 a.m. Thank you, brother. Thanks for the super chat, man. Glad to be here. Glad you guys are fucking here. Ride the Lightning says, all I ever did was testosterone cypionate. Is it trash? Yeah. Throw it out. Throw it in the garbage, bro. No, I'm just joking. Look, I mean, people can make it work. It's harder to dial in. That's the one thing I've seen for sure. Quantifiably, it's a lot harder to dial in. Even with a professional who dials people's protocols in every day, like me, it's harder. It's harder. It takes more manipulation. It also, you know, may not break down as efficiently as we would want. I think testosterone enanthate would be better. Testosterone propionate even better. Testosterone cream, you know, equally good as prop. Maybe better for some people. Thoughts on the drones? Which drones? Which drones are we talking about here? I don't know what you mean, man. I want to expand upon that. Okay, once I dropped HCG, I think it makes sense to keep if you want children. Yeah, I mean, if you're having fertility issues or if you want to have a kid, you can start dosing HCG and then, you know, get relatively fertile relatively quickly. Usually, doesn't mean it's the case for everybody. You know, if you're on lots of steroids for many years, you're going to have more reduction in the testicular function. But yeah, there's all manner of anecdotals of people just jumping right on HCG and getting their wives pregnant. So, you know, the testicles will probably shrink, but there's ways to mitigate that. DHT itself, Proviron, the use of lecithin, not even in high amounts to keep ejaculate volume good, and you'll be good to go. All right, if you don't care about anabolics because you use DIM on TRT, converts E2 into weaker E1. Yeah, sure. You know, I think DIM could be useful for some people. It's an androgen receptor antagonist, probably past a certain point. The only studies we have on that are in the prostate, but I don't think you'd have an AR receptor antagonist that's only selective in one tissue and not elsewhere. So probably inhibits the androgen receptors elsewhere, which is going to prevent androgen responsive genes from activating, which you don't want. So low dose it. Tavis abused kratom heavily for years. Okay, yeah, that's a problem. It's gonna raise your prolactin and fuck with your dopamine in the hypothalamus. Might a 9 ABC cycle or 2 be worth trying to heal dopamine circuitry? Absolutely. Yep, 50 milligrams a day, 50 days straight. Cycle off for 2 weeks. Reassess what you want to do thereafter. Ride the Lightning takes 10 milligrams pregnenolone for almost a month and don't feel anything. You're not going to feel pregnenolone. You don't feel it. It's not a nootropic. It's not anything like that. But if you're not on TRT, I mean, you're trying to take it to raise testosterone, that might not help. Pregnenolones are really not that effective for that. That could be why. Steve Wonderful, when using cream and prop, should they be spaced hours apart? No. I think when I've run hybrid protocols, I ran them at the same time. I ran, the best cream and prop protocol I've ever run, which gave me erections like Trimix, was 70 milligrams of prop a day and 3 pumps of cream a day. Now, I after 3 days of that, I would have to bump estrogen down a little. But again, it troughs quickly, and I clear shit from my system very quickly. So my estrogen really didn't go all that high. But, the proper use of estrogen control and things were great. But took it at the same time. Now, there's an argument for maybe 20 a prop in the morning and 2 pumps of cream in the evening. If you can tolerate what estrogen that gives you, and then you kind of stay at more steadier state testosterone, and that's going to be more anabolic, and it might be better for your sexual function. It all really depends on the person. Boron seems less than consequential. The science isn't clear on whether or not it maybe lowers estrogen a little bit. It will lower SHBG a little bit and increase free testosterone. It's not some magical thing, I wouldn't experiment with oral testosterone. Me personally, I don't think you'll get the metabolites that you want from TRT with oral testosterone. In fact, that's pretty much proven at this point. The Beast with a $15 super chat from Euro or wherever this is. Hey, bro, broski, on TRT changed nothing in my protocol. Now, sometimes it's almost impossible to climax. Yeah, that's estrogen being too high, or it's prolactin being too high. It's one or the other, period. DHT powder gave me more sensation, but only for a few days. Yeah, well, DHT won't help if you have some offender in the mix. In this case, it's almost definitely estradiol. Or prolactin. You got to get labs on both of those. If it's prolactin, get on cabergoline right away. You don't want to fuck around with high prolactin. It could be, it can have detrimental consequences to the cardiovascular system if it's too high. It has detrimental consequences on blood flow to the penis. So does estradiol in both of those regards. Okay, when too high. So it's definitely that. That's the hallmark thing, boys. If it fucking takes you forever to come on any cycle or whatever, the estrogen's too high. The estrogen's almost always the estrogen is too high. When you get it low enough for, where your body needs to be, sensation's crazy, you come easier, it's quicker. It's like, dude, I've had protocols so dial in that it's too quick. Then I'm like, now I got to figure out how to fucking last longer. So it's definitely that, dude. Look at your prolactin, look at your estradiol, figure out how to adjust from there. Because if that estradiol milieu is too much, the DHT won't really be able to overpower it unless you're dosing 50 milligrams 3 times a day. James, on testosterone cypionate has helped PTSD some. We're trying a different ester, potentially increase symptom improvement. Well, this is all depending on where the metabolite numbers are. If your estrogen is higher than where it should be for your body, then you're still going to have sexual dysfunction. Also, though, with PTSD, you've been deprived of androgens for a while. You get some, it might have a degree of androgen receptor silencing. It's unproven, but it's entirely possible, in which case DHT itself to upregulate AR function would be warranted. But you got to look at your metabolites here and do blood and see where things are. You could change that cypionate dose, that cypionate protocol in 6 different ways to get resolution further. Whether that's adding a little bit of masteron propionate, you block the estrogen receptors, you inhibit some aromatase conversion of test to E2. You run a little Primabon, just a little bit. Primabon has an intermediary it converts to, which is an aromatase inhibitor that lowers the estrogen a little bit. You could run some Proviron, free up some free test, inhibit aromatase a little bit, improve testicular function, and then you got resolution there. So there's 1,000 ways to resolve this. It isn't just about a blanket, I'm taking cypionate. You got to get real nuance, especially if you're dealing with sexual dysfunction. My view on test gel instead of cream is that it's weaker. You have to take a real lot of it to get to 1,000. At a regular dose of it, you're going to be peaking at about 700, which isn't necessarily bad. Not everybody wants to be super anabolic and have, 1,300 to 4,000 nanograms per deciliter testosterone, you know. I don't even want to do that. I just really loved being at 4,000 for a while. And then I dialed back because ultimately fucking so hard. It just makes everything harder. You're on a cycle, makes managing estrogen harder, makes managing everything hard. You take a bunch of ancillaries to make sure your lipids don't get out of whack and all this other stuff. So I think, you know, if you're looking for like some justification to use gel over cream, I can't give you one. I won't give you one because it's inferior compared to cream. All right, boys, I'm gonna end the stream. Great fucking chat, man. Great questions. Thank you for all of you that participated. Those of you that helped to get Vigorous Steve back, if you're watching, those of you that tweeted Team YouTube, you guys are part of the community, man. You're helpful to the cause of spreading good information regarding, in that case, you know, anabolics and even TRT. And thank you. Thank you for doing that. We, you know, Vigorous Steve is back and he shouldn't have ever been banned to begin with. And that's just what we got to do. If it ever happens to me, I would hope that you guys would go to Twitter, tweet Team YouTube, tweet the Trusted Flaggers, and help get our channel back as well. Source list, again, vetted source of anabolics that you can't find anywhere else. I had to buy all of the products on these lists to vet that they were pure, useful, highly effective, came fast, shipped well. And I put the best list together of trusted sources. I mean, the people that you most respect on the web regarding this is where they're getting product from. So buy it at livecortex.com. Content coming this week. Actually, this Monday, I've got a podcast with Ryan Root from Hormones for Me. So Ryan Root's the steroid guy who had a big UGL, one of the biggest UGLs in the country. He's been on the podcast before. We'll have an hour and a half long banger coming to you guys on Monday. All right. So it's going to be fucking epic. Look forward to that. Otherwise, again, thanks for the questions, boys. It's been epic hanging out with you. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend, and I will chat with you all very soon.